Project Blue, a remix of F-Zero by Overshield. Folks, you don't know yet what that song means, but tonight that will change. Welcome, everybody. This is Insert Credits Round 118. So ordered, so delivered, the first of 2024. Welcome. My goodness. I am very tired.
Yes.
We're both very tired. Just to keep everybody apprised of current events, Mother Nature decided to dump a foot of snow on us today. That wasn't very pleasant.
No.
And this was a follow-up to like the 8 or 9 we already got on Monday of this week as well. So yeah, that's what we've both been dealing with today. But that's all right. We're here. It's now Friday night. We're able to do insert credits. Everything is fine, right?
I hope so.
That's what we're hoping for anyways.
I'm really tempted to switch over to that live view of the camera outside because it is still coming down and it's really it's a time.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I did my last kind of go about an hour ago, and then I said, screw it. Whatever happens the rest of tonight, I'll deal with tomorrow morning. It's fine.
Seems good.
So yeah, let's get into some housekeeping for old 2024 here. So you heard it, we've got a new opener. Hooray, we did it. Exactly as we said that we were gonna do for first show 2024. So here we go. We've got a kick-ass F-Zero remix. It's fun.
Yes, we do. It's a very, very upbeat remix.
Extremely upbeat.
My notes for that, because we ended up going through a selection process, was we need to match the energy. Let's go. And
look,
we're really tired.
I tried. I really tried. Okay. But we'll see. Which also means we have a matching new closer as well.
This is true.
Which
you won't hear until the end, right?
Which you'll hear at the end. Of course, I have it lined up, not the old one, of course.
We need to figure out what the new meep word is, because it's not going to be a meep anymore.
You're right. It's not. I don't know if this is going to be meepable. I don't remember if this has got like a strong opening note.
Yeah, same. We're gonna find out when it happens.
Well, not as strong of an opening note as Wind in Your Hair did. That's fairly strong, but whatever. It's fine. Other like relevant housekeeping stuff too. I updated the insert credit site. We've got everything now posted there up through round 117, so we're all caught up. If you just head over to zerohour-productions.net, you'll see pretty much all you need. There's also a URL on the multimedia stream that we got going on. It'll be in the video recording as well. And of course, you just heard me say the URL if you're just listening to the audio. So everything's there. It's real simple. Tried to keep it minimal again because I got tired of dealing with Drupal. So it's just the insert credit stuff's right there now. I'm still kind of archiving the old Seeking Infinity stuff, and my plan is also to archive even our old blog posts at some point as well. Not quite ready yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there.
Are we canonically changing how we write insert credits, by the way?
I don't know. Are we? Why? What's different?
You didn't put the parens in there.
I'm not going to put parens in a URL.
Well, no, but I mean, like, even in the header.
What's wrong with the header?
It doesn't have the parentheses in it.
It does on my side. Wait, which header are you talking about, first of all?
All right, so zerohour-productions.net. You have the little selector at the top. You can choose home or insert credits.
Oh, did I not put the parentheses in there?
No, and once you're there, it doesn't have it in the header.
Okay.
Like the H1 header. But that's fine. Hi, insert credits.
All right, well, remind me later to fix that, because obviously that was not intentional.
It's fine. 2024 is a time of new beginnings. And
for sure.
It's all good.
All right, just messing with my audio cables. I'm getting weird separation. It's not affecting the recording or anything, so I'll just have to deal with it for now until first song break, I guess. Okay, I don't think there's any other relevant housekeeping aside from the like normal intro of what insert credits is. It's podcast / multimedia stream / whatever we want it to be at any given time. But we typically divide it into 3 sections. First, we go through some news, what's been happening around the world, game releases, hardware, new stuff, legal, etc., etc. That's usually pretty fun. Then we listen to some tunes for a first little song break there, and then we go into what we've been playing since last time. So I guess technically a year has passed. So new year, new games and stuff. And then we listen to some more tunes just as a little relaxer. And then at the end, usually, and it's going to be different this time, but I'll expand on that in a bit. Usually we do an ad hoc design at the very end of the show for our final segment. But because we are both extremely tired and because it seems timely, we're going to do a quickie 2024 look ahead instead of ad hoc design, which we will discuss when the time comes. But that's a decent summary of insert credits, which you can look forward to tonight and in future shows and in past shows if you decide to watch and or listen to those. Oh boy. Okay. Did I miss anything for housekeeping? I don't think so. Oh no, I did, because new shows, future shows. Totally didn't forget. And I didn't forget to bring up the calendar either. So let's see. Round 119 we have marked out for hold on a second.
I'm looking. February 16th.
Yeah, there we go. February 16th. That seems fine still, right?
Yes.
Okay, round 120 is looking like March 15th. Nice dead center there. And 121 now. Looks like we could do the 12th or the 19th. That's pretty dancing around the center, but whatever.
I'm looking at the blindingly bright screen to my right, which is why I'm suddenly very pasty. It would be kind of funny to do it on the 19th because it's tax day.
Is it?
Wait, no, it's not. I lied. That's the 15th.
Okay,
damn.
Good. Whew.
Ooh, well, I mean, that would have given you more time. But anyway,
I mean,
nah, fine, never mind.
So 19th?
We can do before or after filing, your choice.
I mean, it doesn't, I usually don't put it off that long, so it doesn't really matter to me. How about the 12th then? Fine. Well,
yeah, that sounds good.
Got to make a decision. All right, what did I say? 121?
Yeah.
I think that's how math works. That's plus
yes.
3? Yeah, okay. All right, cool. Got that squared. All right, that's the end of housekeeping for real then. For a change of pace.
Squared, actually.
What?
121. It's 11 squared.
It is. You're right. Hot damn.
Yeah, got it squared.
Okay, so then we're done with housekeeping and into the first major segment. Would you mind going first today while I get my weird audio figured out? Okay, take it away, please.
All right. Well, I'm only going to do a little bit of this because some of it was going to play into yours, but that's fine. We'll start with the really depresso stuff.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
I mean, yeah.
So there's a lot of layoffs going on right now. And yeah, it's the beginning of what I assume is the fiscal year for a lot of companies because sometimes they actually line up calendars.
Yeah.
Discord is laying off 17% of its employees. Twitch is doing the same with 35% and Unity with 25%. They made their money. Get fucked. Yeah.
Gotta juice those quarterly statements, you know. That's how the real capitalists do it.
Shareholders.
Ugh, gross.
Publicly traded companies, etc. Whatever. Garbage. But moving away into probably better things, question mark? I don't know. So I haven't had the chance to play Minecraft Legends yet. I have it. I would like to play it at some point. It's one of those things that's multiplayer, and I kind of wanted to wait until everybody was back in the home after everything has been happening in the last 2 months. So I have it downloaded. Haven't played it. It's on the Xbox right now. I'm sure it's on PC. I'm sure it's on other things too. Its final update was just released, and it was just like it just came out like the second half of last year, and it's already on its final patch. Which is really weird.
Oh.
I don't understand. But apparently they were like, well, it's a static story. It's not like, base Minecraft where everything changes all the time. You have iterative developments. You want to make it more interesting, keep getting new players in because things are changing. This is a one and done kind of game. And apparently they decided, we think it's good.
I guess it's done.
So I guess that was just really surprising. The game is less than a year old. I haven't had the chance to play it yet. I've heard pretty good things, honestly. Some of my friends got into it for about 90 hours, and they said,
wow.
yeah, it's a pretty good standalone little thing. And that's about the end of it.
Oh,
So
well,
I don't know anything else about it. The trailers look pretty cool. I don't know. It looked kind of neat. It kind of felt like a continuation of Dungeons a little bit.
oh, see,
So
that's the one I was thinking of. I think so. Legends is a different thing, huh?
yeah, it is.
Huh. Okay.
It's kind of how do I it feels like it's a kind of a hybrid between normal Minecraft and Minecraft Dungeons, sort of. At least based on the trailer. I have looked at nothing else other than the trailer, and that was like a pre-launch trailer by 2 months. So things are different, probably. But I'm really curious. I want to get back into Dungeons, especially. So I keep hearing that if I enjoy Dungeons, then I'm probably going to enjoy this game. So I would like to do that. Let's see here. The other stuff that doesn't run into yours. Bobby Kotick.
Fuck you, Bobby Kotick.
Yes.
Little shit. All right.
Kotick indeed.
Sorry. Please continue.
It's all right. Has retired allegedly from Activision Blizzard, allegedly, as of December 29th, 2023. And in my notes, and I sincerely hope this to be the case, quote, hopefully never to be seen or heard from again, unquote.
Agreed. Very
Unless
hard
he's
agree.
being sued into oblivion.
Also hard agree.
Yes. So, welcome to death.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, fortunately, a lot of other better things have been going on. Namely the Consumer Electronics Show. Lots of really cool home entertainment things, lots of really cool technology things just in general for PC builders. Lenovo, of all OEMs, has really cool hardware this year. What the fuck?
Oh yeah. Well,
They have like a convertible Windows laptop that also is an Android tablet. I have seen this concept before, but apparently this one actually is like rather seamless between the two operating systems, and you can just
Bizarre.
kind of go between the two immediately with a tablet pen and everything, and it's just really neat. Apparently they have an iMac competitor that's actually like, wait, no, not iMac, sorry, Mac Studio competitor. That is like, the reviewers keep saying it's on par with Apple's Mac Studio, which is saying a whole lot because we don't really have anything like that from a pre-built
so
perspective.
Remind me what the form factor of the Mac Studio is then?
So imagine the Mac Mini, but like twice as thick, I guess.
Okay.
So it is Apple's highest end desktop device, I guess. It's kind of a cube shape.
Oh.
They've kind of gone that direction in place of the Mac Pro, and to have a Windows device from an OEM that isn't Acer and random companies that I haven't heard of before and stuff, it seems kind of intriguing, especially on the business front. We have, at least where I work, and I'm not going to reveal that, we have a lot of creatives, and it's kind of a struggle to find good Windows hardware. And that kind of leads us down the path of, well, I guess we're supporting Macs now. Which, in all honesty, Mac management with Jamf is pretty great compared to Intune. So, in any case, no, to have Lenovo have so many different form factors, so many different kinds of devices, just like across consumer and professional spaces, and seemingly kind of pushing the industry forward in terms of form factors and things like that. That's not what I would expect out of them. And I found that to be rather unique.
Have they fixed their software though yet?
I don't know.
But by fix, I mean remove.
Yeah, I shrug. I can say that after a pretty hefty year of the Legion. Oh, well, I don't even know what the hell the names of these things are. I've just been looking at form factors, being like, wow, how do these not exist already? No, this particular device that I was just talking about wasn't the Legion Go. However, that may be the convertible Windows/Android device. That could be. Look it up. That'd be cool. PC building stuff though. AMD AM4.
Wait a minute.
I wasn't expecting to see a bunch of AM4 stuff, but the pricing is actually really good for what it is, all things considered. So I'm going to jump into that real quick. 4 new AM4 processors, all launching on the 31st of January. We have a 5700 X3D. This is a direct competitor to the 5800 X3D. 8 cores, 16 threads, 100 megabytes of cache,
Jesus.
which compared to the non 3D cache stuff is like 5 times as much. You'll see. So 100 megabytes of cache, 105 watt TDP, which is pretty standard for everything that isn't 65 for them. Does not come with a cooler because the X3Ds just don't. That one's listed at $249, which in the grand scheme of things is pretty cheap. And we're probably going to find it on sale, much like all of the other stuff that's come out recently. They also added a normal bog standard 5700, not a 5700X or a 3D, just a 5700. Cool.
Oh, these names.
I know. Also 8 cores and 16 threads, but this has 20 megs of cache, so that is 20% of the X3D. A 65 watt TDP, which is much more aggressive. It does come with the Wraith Spire cooler, and it's $175. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is where things get interesting. We don't know what graphics are going into these yet, but it's probably not going to be the Vega graphics that are in the 5000 series G series processors now. So we have the 5600 GT. I'm not 100% sure what the T stands for yet. We'll find out. This is 6 cores and 12 threads, 19 megabytes of cache. I don't know why it's one less. I don't know.
Okay.
19 megs of cache, also 65 watt TDP. It does come with the Wraith Spire, and it has Radeon graphics, whatever that means. But it's listed for $140. 6 cores and 12 threads for $140. Not bad.
Not bad
honestly.
at all.
And AM4, you can get tons of motherboards for at this point, both new and used, and everything has had a long time to mature. So honestly, if you want something that's going to last you a good while, probably get one of the newer CPUs, and I'd probably go toward the X3D, but we still have one more left. So basically take the one I was just talking about, the 5600 GT, remove 2 cores and 4 threads. That's the only difference. So we're at the 5500 GT with 4 creds.
4 creds.
Credits.
Got it.
We're on that show.
We are.
4 cores, 8
Insert more of
threads.
them.
Right. The same 19 megs of cache, 65 watt TDP, Wraith Spire cooler, and Radeon graphics. Thumbs up. $125.
It's $15.
So just think back to the year 2011. And when we were like, holy shit, those new i7s, the 920 and the 930, we both bought one of each. And we had 4 cores and 8 threads because they had hyper threading, baby. That was a lot more expensive than $125. So
yeah, well,
entry-level processors, this is the new entry level. And it comes with integrated graphics, and it's good integrated graphics, allegedly.
Yeah, but that was also 12 going on 13 years ago. So
yeah, you're not wrong, but also consider the fact that inflation has happened. And for an entry-level processor with 4 cores and 8 threads with integrated graphics that don't completely suck donkey balls, rather, that's actually a really good deal. And Tom, thank you for mentioning it. We need some of these new APUs in handheld form factor, rather.
So,
and that'll be interesting because, you know, the Steam Deck just kind of blew the lid open on all of that stuff. I'm really looking forward to very aggressively power saving chips that can still do fun stuff. The frame insertion stuff, all sorts of new things with tech that's just kind of bog standard now with Radeon and NVIDIA. It's just a thing. So if we can make these handhelds work for more than like 2.5 hours at a time, that would be outstanding. I mean, granted, the Switch doesn't do any better, and it's quite a bit worse for fidelity. However, we can always do better.
So speaking of
handhelds being a thing, yes.
So at this same CES show, which is just wrapping up, Ioneo, I guess that's how you pronounce that, Ioneo, something like that, announced their quote-unquote next light. I'm going to characterize this as a very Steam Deck-like form factor, because that's kind of what has now popularized it. Purported to use, and they used this in their announcement, and then they clarified later, Steam OS. It's not actually Steam OS, but it is based on Hollow ISO, itself, which is very much like SteamOS. So it's essentially Linux. And it's no secret that I like my Steam Deck. I love that it works very well on Linux and all that. So that's something to watch out for. Now, it seems to be fairly middling as far as hardware specs are concerned, but it does have the whole AMD APU thing going for it, as well as, the SteamOS-like experience to it. So we're seeing a lot more of these handhelds in this form factor doing their stuff, and you love to see that. Like, I don't know that I would buy another in this form factor unless they have a serious refresh. Steam Deck OLED aside, of course. But it has been a fun little experiment. It's totally worth buying it when I did. But I am jazzed to see more of these because they are pushing this form factor a little bit better, and also they're pushing software compatibility a lot more too, which makes me very excited because I do game on Linux because I'm apparently masochistic. But that is fun. That was another thing at CES. Still on the AMD side of things, they've also slotted in another GPU, a 7000 series mid-range with the RX 7600 XT. Huge VRAM pool, 16 gigs, but not really much else on top of the 4 APUs that you... Are they APUs or are they just CPUs? I don't remember. The 4 AM4 entries you talked about, too. Other graphics-related things, of course, NVIDIA, not to be outdone, announced their RTX 40 Super line with modest spec bups and or slight price reductions, which is strange to see from one of the major GPU dealers kind of decreasing prices since they've been just squeezing the entire market for all that because of AI and blockchain and shortages and blah, blah, blah. Which is why they got the shitty last year that they deserved as far as consumer GPU sales are concerned.
Oh, but don't worry, they got money hand over fist.
With
AI bullshit.
They are extremely profitable, which is fine, I guess. Whatever. Intel also not to be outdone on the GPU front. Granted, their first foray with the Alchemist line of GPUs, not great. But supposedly their next Gen 2 stuff in Battle Mage is just about hardware complete, and they've got most of the team focused on now the software side, the drivers. And there was a slight name drop for their next gen, their Gen 3 Celestial stuff that they've already started hardware design on as well. So lots of interesting things coming up on the GPU side.
So they're pulling an Android here by progressively going up a letter. I see. Okay. Gotcha.
Pretty clear, isn't it? A, B, C, etc. So that's interesting. Like, I don't think I would go for Intel stuff. Probably not second gen. Maybe third gen might be interesting to look at because their first gen was kind of out the door. But hey,
do something.
They did, and I'm glad they are. More competition, more better. Please keep pressure on NVIDIA and AMD. Duopoly's no good. Whew. Okay, well, speaking of AI bullshit, and I hate that I have to use that as a transition, but good old Square Enix. Good old Square Enix, emphasis on the ol, has announced plans for aggressive use of, I'm going to use extremely heavy air quotes, both audio and visual, AI to generate new content. Who the fuck is asking for this? I don't know. And I don't know why, like, Square Enix is still doing pretty well, right? Like, why do they need to hop into this shit? Man, drives one to drink.
I mean, they've been talking about this for about a year now, and they just haven't gotten the hint that maybe don't. No, instead they've, like, quadrupled down at this point. Like, why are you doing this? You know it's bad.
Yeah, I hate it.
You know everybody's going to hate you for it. But here we are. Well, that's enough downer stuff. Here's kind of a funny little thing. Ubisoft, which I don't hold any particular love or hate for, they accidentally left some text-to-voice in for a minor character in the new Prince of Persia instead of having an actual voice actor do the lines for them. Oops. Not really that big of a deal, honestly. It's a big release, lots of voice lines, etc., etc. And they've already started work on patching that.
It won't be available on the day one patch, but they have acknowledged the error and are working to fix it. So good for them. It's just kind of funny. I think it would be kind of funny to hear the voice to text or text to voice the other way around, the text to voice lines. But suppose there's only like 8 or 9 lines of dialogue or something like that. So in a game that's probably brimming with a lot of other dialogue, to miss 8 or 9 lines is probably not a big deal. Oh, inspiration strikes.
Yeah, I completely forgot. All right. Awesome Games Done Quick 2024 starts this Sunday at noon.
Oh shit, I forgot that was coming up too.
I just remembered.
Oh my.
As I'm reading Geets question mark from Mr. Game and Show being like,
Oh yeah.
ah. So yeah.
All right, so
that's
cool.
coming up.
That's next
Thumbs
week.
up.
Excellent.
People are going to play games really well and really quickly and or really difficultly with the timer. Yeah.
For charity. So, you know, that's a lot of good things all mashed together. What? Are you getting more inspiration while we're doing a show live? What the hell?
Tom just mentioned a new Humble Bundle for a GDQ. Of course I'm going to look at it. All right. Play along with the speedrun. Oh.
All right, now I gotta look.
Shit. Okay, cool. All right. Pay at least $10 for these 8 items. Let's go. Bayonetta. Borderlands 2 Game of the Year Edition. Celeste. Sprawl. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Ooh.
Fantastic game, by the way. Astalon Tears of the Earth. Huh. I know who's running that. That's interesting. Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Yeah, buddy.
Oh, good. You can play it for the memes.
As you do. So, yeah, honestly, $10 for all that?
Yeah,
Dirt cheap.
Not a bad set they got going on there.
Nope.
Huh?
I'm going to go ahead and link that in chat if somebody else hasn't already.
Excellent.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, goodness, excuse me. One moment. It's coming. It went away. Oh, no.
Mm.
Oh, goodness,
Valid.
excuse me. Oh, jeez.
It's all good.
All right. Okay, so other cool gaming stuff. Somebody has finally, and you'll follow on to this as well. Somebody has finally hit the NES Tetris kill screen. Level 157. In fact, a relatively newish 13-year-old player of NES Tetris hit level 157 and caused the game to crash. So literal kill screen, first time ever that happened to that game, but then followed on by the next, right?
Yeah, okay. So before I do that, I'm going to give some information. So NES Tetris, interestingly enough, starts having some issues once you get up to level 153, I think it was. So there are conditions in every level between 153 and 255 where the game will just crash because it can't handle it. But there's only certain conditions where that happens. And this player, Blue Scooty, just happened to make it happen and was the first person to do it. So, of course, within days of that happening, 2 more people did it. This is just a thing that happens. Like somebody achieves this ridiculous world record of sorts and then immediately becomes tenable for other people to do. I don't understand this phenomenon. It's been going on forever. But 2 other people, Fractal 161 and Pixel Andy, both have managed kill screen victories after the fact. And holy shit. So now the big thing is, what happens in NES Tetris when you hit level 255 and then advance a level again?
So presumably that goes back to level 0 speeds and whatever. And supposedly it's possible. Like you can skip all
it
the...
does do that.
Ah, yeah, there you go. Okay, guessed right.
I mean, 8-bit integers.
Right. I mean, that's the presumption, right? But some arcade games that do that too, they just go to actual kill screen, literally unplayable garbage. Right. But it's funny because the Blue Scooty, who did the original kill screen, was angling for the level 155 kill, and he missed it.
Oops.
Missed it by clearing a triple instead of a single. They had to keep playing until 157 to
that's what
get
it was.
the kill.
It was 155, not 153.
Yeah.
Right. I was off by 2. Okay. So now the impossible feat
Right.
is to loop.
God, that's wild.
Just even considering the fact that one can loop Tetris
Right.
is a thing.
And
So that is
theoretically,
nuts.
there's ways to skip all the other kill conditions, right? So,
In theory.
in very much in theory, and I would not be surprised if someone, and probably more than someone, have been trying to set up a task to do just that.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure. And now that we know what the conditions are, there's no reason why that couldn't be a thing.
Right.
Oh, I actually really look forward to seeing that at some point because it's going to happen.
It'd be extremely interesting.
We've already
to
had
watch.
the AI learn how to play Tetris things, so
Yeah, and we've
you
already
just
had
teach it new rules.
already had Twitch plays Tetris amongst other things, right? Too. So
I mean, that's just funny.
yeah, it is. It really is. But yeah, and Blue Scooty also got personal communications from both Hank Rogers and Alexei Paitnov after his kill screen. So
Yes.
that's fucking super cool.
Also, I'm going to take this
Super cool.
opportunity to plug that graphic novel that I read.
Oh right, yeah. What was that called again?
I'm finding that because it gave so many cool things. All right, yes, it's Tetris, the games people play. I want to find the Goodreads page for it and not Amazon because Amazon can go fuck itself.
Good idea.
Here we go. Excellent, excellent, excellent read. It does so much in terms of like actually giving the weird back and forth with who owns the rights to what and kind of how Hank managed to make it all happen, and it's so good. Go ahead and read that. It's cheap as hell. Very well worth it. It was at my library. That's where I found it, and it was just like, wow, Tetris, cool. I checked it out immediately. So very, very good times.
Fantastic. Boy, is there a true last boss at the end of the second loop of Tetris? Oh boy. You know, somebody's probably going to task that as well. They're going to see how many loops they can do. Loops of Tetris.
All right. So I will say this one more thing. So everybody playing NES Tetris at a competitive level right now has a version that continues the line count into hex so that you can see how many lines you have instead of it just topping out at 999. Or is it score? I think it's score. I'm sorry about that. God bless it. I didn't realize it. Whatever. Go find it someplace else that isn't Amazon owned. So in any case, yes, it's score. So I really want to see if somebody can eventually just get all Fs. I mean, whatever. We'll see what happens then. But in any case, just people playing modified copies of the game just so that they could prove that they had a score that's higher than somebody else, because there's obviously score attacks for this too. It's nuts. I love it. This game came out in the late 80s. It's a legacy that won't die.
40 some years later now, so well, almost 40, right?
I was gonna say, don't date us.
35-ish. Right? So
good enough.
Yeah. I don't know. Humanity can be pretty cool sometimes. Only sometimes.
Only sometimes.
All right. Well, that's all the news I got.
Cool.
Should we roll into first songs here?
Yes. Okay. So to preface this, I'm going to try not to butcher these names. Very interesting things have been happening on OC Remix lately. There have been, because of other things like compo projects and whatnot, there have been a lot of crossover remixes that involve multiple games. And OC Remix, by default, only selects one game to be listed under because of the primary game. And a lot of these recent remixes are pretty even between games, and I wanted to list all of the source games. So this is going to be interesting because there are multiple remixers too. Let's begin. The first song of the evening, Frozen Echoes, is by Gaspode, and it's featuring Nikki Yamai from Metroid Prime, Super Metroid, and Metroid. Second song is going to be Experienite Tinderbox by Jay Damashi from RuneScape. And then thirdly, Binary Stars by Emunator, Gamer of the Winds, Lucas Grimares, and Shea's Violin from Super Metroid and Secret of Mana.
Dang, 2024 really starting off with a lot of good banging songs. Like, jeez.
Uh-huh.
Whew.
That last one, like I was trying to figure out if I wanted to put that one first or last, but it just hit.
I think
Like
last was a good
it's a very
choice.
good transition choice there.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it was
yeah.
excellent. So yeah,
And a good
good
transition to
stuff.
second part here for what we've been playing since last time. It's a new year. Maybe we
Oh
picked up some new games.
yeah. Nah. No,
Oh.
I have been hosting family
Uh,
and friends and working, and
yeah.
I have been tangentially involved in some things. I will talk about that. Vlad's been playing a lot of really cool stuff lately. Chicory, what a fun
Ooh,
game.
yeah.
Honestly, I have really no idea how far along we are in there, probably halfway, maybe. But no, that's been a vibe. That's one of those games where you just kind of like have to enjoy the process.
Mm.
And that's been something like that's a mental health kind of thing that I've been working on, and taking the time to enjoy things and not necessarily feel like I have to be hyper productive and multitask and all the shit, and just like enjoy creativity. And it's been really fun to, well, watch Vlad play the game, but also like kind of figure out some of the puzzles with him. It is very much a puzzle game, and that's really cool. And the characters there are all very unique. They have a lot of very descriptive emotions because it's not voice acted. Everything is done in animation and text. And lots of characters have different fonts and colors and whatnot. Colors are a big thing in the game. But you really get to feel for a lot of folks who are in the game because of their various plights and whatnot. And it's really relaxing. So that's been really cool. I'm trying to think of some of the other things he's been playing. FTL, we got back into that again. It's getting to the point now where he just, it's weird if he doesn't clear.
Mhm.
So have been getting a lot of high scores. It's been fun. His play style is definitely get a teleporter and just wreck shit, leave the ship intact so you get more things out of it, that kind of thing. Um, I can't remember what the augmentation is, but it's like restorative teleportation or whatnot, so that when you teleport back, you're full health again.
Oh,
It's
wow.
real cool and busted. So you get your characters low on HP after battling a bunch of folks. You teleport them back. You teleport them back over again, and they're already fully healed. It's really
Yeah,
great.
that sounds a little bit unbalanced.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you kind of get lucky sometimes. So, um, he's been kind of doing some achievement hunting on that. It's always a fun game to watch. Ben Prunty's soundtrack is just
Mm,
phenomenal.
that's good stuff.
Yep, very good stuff. Yeah, tell that. There you go.
Oh boy.
There's been a little Slay the Spire action. I don't remember if we finished the daily from 2 days ago yet, but that one was really interesting. I also noticed that the dailies are different between platforms, so whatever's
Oh,
on
okay.
Xbox is whatever he was playing. So, um, yeah, good times. Heck, trying to remember some of the other stuff that he's been playing. It's just been kind of off and on stuff. There's definitely been some stuff on PC that I'm forgetting. Baba is You. Yes. That's such a cute game. Um, we definitely had been working on the puzzles and that together, and we haven't gotten like too tripped up yet. Oh, Slay the Spire, absolutely worth the cost. Um, I will shit on it slightly because it's written in Java,
Uh,
but that's just because I hate Java.
well
Um,
deserved, I think, but
yeah. The soundtrack for Slay the Spire is sparse in that it doesn't have too many tracks, but they're all really good. And I have been deliberately trying not to sing along to all of them because it bothers the shit out of Vlad. Especially floor, not floor, shit, Act 2. There we go. One of the Act 2 songs just like is permanently in my head whenever I hear it. So it's just kind of a risk of playing games with fantastic soundtracks. But Baba though, um, we've gotten into a couple areas past the start and have done as much optional content in those areas as possible so far. Um, it's kind of interesting because a lot of those puzzles have multiple solutions. And like what I consider something to try is achieved in a similar way, but not the same. But Vlad does get it anyway. I think the biggest redeeming factor of that game is the fact that it has unlimited undos. And that's that's what makes it accessible. But there are definitely some really multi-level things that you have to be aware of. Like, all right, so you have these 5 conditions, you have to do these things that kind of like peel back the next layer, but you have to be aware of everything before that, etc. So it yeah, you have to do a lot of parallel puzzle solving, and that's challenging. And I can understand why some folks would think that that is maybe not the thing they want. Um, but it's cute. The the soundtrack that goes with the game is very unobtrusive. Um, Hempuli has made some other. I'm not going to call them shitpost games, but
Some
like
choice games.
yes, Mobile Suit Baba. That's relatively new and it's still free. I think that's over on itch. It's probably just itch.io/hempuli, HEMPULI. But like it's so cute looking. Like I love the concept. Like the aesthetic is there. It tricks you into thinking that it's going to be a kind puzzle game. It is not a kind puzzle
Oh
game.
yeah.
But it does its best to keep the vibes approachable. I think that's about as much as you could do with something that's just a complete brain destroyer. Um, Goodness, I'm trying to think of some of the other games, as I know there's been more than that. Um, he booted up Dead Cells, and I was really excited because it's like, hey, buddy, let's do this. And unfortunately, it was a night where he just like the screen is too big for certain games, and with the amount of action that's happening at the same time, it makes him really like stomach sick. And I can totally relate to that. That is me trying to watch anybody play a Smash game ever. So
And there is a lot going on in Dead Cells, yes. So no blame. Do you have kind of like the tennis effect going on too, where it's big enough that you have to physically turn your head to see the edges, or?
Fortunately not.
Okay, good. Because that would be bad.
There is a need for us to have a screen for certain kind of games, especially TPS and FPS especially. So since moving, we still have both of our actual TVs in box yet and just have not. So at some point, we're going to make the downstairs chill area have a television so that we could play games that are a little more like actively demanding so that it's not just the instant effect. So yeah, we'll get there at some point. Yeah. Honestly though, like all of the games that we've downloaded and booted up recently have been a vibe. Very different vibes, but they've been a vibe. I want to play things again really badly. There's been a lot of talk of tabletop stuff recently. Some Pathfinder, a lot of D&D 5. There's a homebrew thing that somebody's going to be premiering at Midwest Fur Fest this coming year. I'm kind of interested in learning that system so I can help demo it. There's just a lot of really interesting things going on. People are beginning to kind of come out of various levels and reasons for being stressed. So we're starting to actually hang out with people more. I'm not going to go into a lot of details on this because I guess it kind of was a game that I played. One of our friends hosted a movie night at the end of the year. And the thing about him hosting movie nights is that they're always theme based. And he does a lot of shorts in anticipation of like getting into the big movie. And you're supposed to figure out like what is the thing that kind of ties all of these together. And we're all furries going to these things. And this last time it was animals where you don't expect them, or like anthropomorphic creatures where you don't expect them, that kind of thing. So that was maybe a little on the nose, but the selections largely were okay except for the movie. we're not going to get into that. That's always an enjoyable experience. It's been really good getting to know more folks that are able to actually spend time IRL and doing things and socializing and sharing things we love with each other. And it's been something that we've desperately needed. And that's really good. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more in 2024, and we'll get more into that after this.
Yes, we will. There's a lot of good stuff we can talk about at the end for 24. 2024 look ahead. I'm looking forward to it. Ha ha ha.
Meanwhile, you've played like everything ever because that's what you do. So.
I mean, yes and no. So I think last time we spoke of this on the previous show, I had just started up on Unguard. So now I've completed Unguard, and just the brief high level on this one is it's a game about fencing, the sword fighting stuff, and it's such a charming game. It's hammed up super a lot. Like the comedy writing is great. It's voice acted, and the accents are goofy and just play into what fencing is. You play as a Spanish lady doing her fencing thing and kind of rising up against the man, against the authorities, and her brother's just a big old goof, and they bring in some very French fencers as some of your enemies too, and they go ham on the accent there, and all the things. The writing is great. It's just so fun. Unfortunately I didn't yell j'accuse very much, which pretty much the game is designed to do, but it was because I was actually pretty into the gameplay for it too, and there wasn't really a good chance to do it either, which wouldn't have just destroyed everybody's earballs who was listening. But it was very fun, and there's a main campaign mode that I played all the way through, and then they had sort of like an arena mode type thing going on. And unfortunately, I did not beat the arena mode entirely the way through, but I did get to the final set of bosses there. And it was a big disappointment when I finally lost. But it was really fun. And I might go back to it at some point just to kind of tie that one off. And then after On Guard, I picked up the Talos Principle 2. This was a game that I had played the original of on stream 8 years ago, which was fun.
I didn't even know there wasn't number 2.
Oh, yeah. It's very recent as well. Released November 2023. Okay. So, yeah, just a couple of months old by now. But I played original Talos Principle 1 in, 8 years ago would have been, 2016. On old potato computer, not the build I'm presently using, which is also now becoming rather old. I played the DLC, Road to Gehenna, 4 years later in 2020, and now it only seems fitting that I am now playing Talos Principle 2 4 years later in 2024. It's a beautiful game, very pretty, very, very pretty. Unfortunately, I've had to dial down a lot of settings to get it to run appreciably. I will sacrifice everything to get my smooth 60 at the very least, so it's on medium settings, and it still looks great. It still looks pretty good. The gameplay is very much like Talos Principle 1, with a lot more like world exploration, which kind of turned me off a little bit. There's a lot more walking around and a lot more, just kind of doing whatever. And I was really into the puzzles of Talos Principle 1. I was ready to do all the puzzles. And they're still there, thankfully, in Talos Principle 2. But it took a little bit more to get to them. There's a big intro sequence and a prologue and a lot of talking. A lot of talking to various NPCs and stuff like that, which is fine. I like talking to NPCs. Let me correct that. I like yelling at NPCs. And what Talos Principle 1, I think, tried to do with like human philosophy and all this other, high big brain stuff is like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. No, I'm just here for the puzzles. And Talos Principle 2 expands on that a whole lot, and I'm sure they're trying to get into a lot of deeper stuff with it. And it's like, yeah, okay, I can see what they're trying to do. But generally, when I'm playing it and streaming it, I'm in no mood to go through that deep philosophy stuff. So I'll laugh at it and I'll make fun of it. And it is a good time, actually, just for me. Anyways, I won't speak for anyone else. But then you get to the puzzle, it's like, yes, that's what I'm here for. Give me. But it is fun. They do a few different variations on the mechanics, and I won't talk about it too much because obviously I don't want to spoil it, and I'm just getting into it myself. But they do a few different variations and things, which is very clever and cool, and a few different modifications of things, and a little bit of intrigue thrown in every now and again too, which is fun. And I don't know how much I'm through it. I think they give you a percentage puzzle completion or whatever, but I've done 3 sessions with it, and I think it read like 12% or something. So it's a long one. It's a long one, and I like it. And it has the same sort of thing. I always overcomplicate a lot of different puzzles. Like I'll do it them the hard way, essentially. And then I'll realize it later and be like, that crap. Oh well. So I'm sure that irritates people who watch too, that they're probably yelling at their screen saying, "Hey, idiot, go over there," and be like, "Yeah, I'm an idiot, sure, but I got it done anyways. Whatever."
Say, welcome to puzzle games. Don't be a dick.
But it is fun, and I'm looking forward to having a lot of time with it yet. So that'll be probably a good month, probably a little bit more than that even.
Go.
On the SBC side of things for Shmup Book Club, our new shmup for month of January 1st of 2024 is Trigon. This is a very early 90s shmup. Just unhappy with you making any sort of progress, and also you need an auto fire set up, otherwise you're going to wreck your thumbs or fingers or whatever you're using to press the buttons. It's interesting.
So you can't just hold the button down?
No.
Oh, no.
Well, no, I take that back. There is one weapon in the game where you can do that, but unfortunately it's not the greatest one. So
okay.
you're kind of kneecapping yourself by using that one a bit. So like,
gotcha.
We're real loose with the SBC kind of rules on this, and we encourage the use of setting up a separate auto fire because there's no reason to hurt yourself playing these games.
Absolutely none at all.
Even if for some games it might make it might cheese it out a little bit and make it really easy or whatever. Like we're not competitive enough in that sense to be like, no, you can't do that. No, just use it reasonably. Don't hurt yourself. Protect your hands and your joints and your limbs and all that. And everybody's been pretty good about it. So that's for the monthly. We've got a new quarterly that started up in January as well, going through the end of March. Blue Wish Resurrection Plus. That's a mouthful of a title because it's kind of a mouthful of a game. This was one that was originally released back in, I want to say 2002, as like what you would probably consider an indie shmup, a dojin, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Dojin?
Yeah, there you go, dojin. Thank you. But very much developed of its time back in the late Windows 98, early Windows 2000, around that era. And I had a hell of a time getting it to work for me just to begin with, because, of course, I play on Linux because I'm an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
But I managed to get it running, but I can only do either sound or music, not both at the same time. It's like, fine, whatever. So I played it a little bit yesterday. It's very interesting, very good score mechanics to it, and very visually busy, of course, as this one tipping the scale at bullet hell does.
I was really kind of confused watching it, honestly, because especially in the slowdown sections, it looked absolutely like you should have taken a bop, but you never did.
Oh yeah,
and it was confusing the hell out of me.
It's very much of that era and continuing era now, where your hitbox is much smaller than you think it is.
Gotcha.
And the bullets
hitboxes
I
kept feeling like you should have been
smaller.
grazed,
Right?
Least,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. We've got it for the entire quarter, so I've got some work to do on it.
And your first on-stream run was a 1 credit clear.
It really was, yeah, which is, it didn't deserve to be, of course. None of that deserved to be anything, but, that's how shmups go.
Yeah, I did it.
For Sunday long plays, I've been hewing up to the Spelunky 2 randomizer still, and it's just, of course, absolute chaos, but it's fun. It's good. I had an Olmec boss spawn in one of the levels where you have to move up instead of down.
I was there.
I was annoyed. I got annoyed by that one. And I also learned, this is probably not spoilers because Spelunky 2 has been out forever, that you don't need to submerge Olmec in lava to kill him, just as long as a small tiny bit of lava touches him, that counts as the kill, and he stops moving.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, well, you learn new shit when you play randomizers, I guess. So that's been real fun and kind of wild there. Other things, I played a handful of just small stuff. A couple early access games have gotten recent updates. Nova Drift has had a pretty recent large update, so I've been chasing scores a little bit on that. Let me just pull up my Steam list, actually. Spelunky 2, of course. Risk of Rain returns. I've been trying. It seems like they fixed the major crash bug that I kept running into, so I've been able to actually loop on that finally. Talos Principle 2, obviously. I just played that. Whisker Squadron Survivor did get another update with some additional content. Vampire Survivor's got a new DLC to it, crossover with Among Us. That's been fun. And then there's more planned for that. Yeah, it's weird. Of course, the game itself is weird, so it kind of fits.
Well, yeah.
It fits, absolutely.
It's still one of those things that Tom keeps prodding me about occasionally. Like, hey, you should at least look at the game and maybe play it. I still haven't, and I really want to, but like, I feel like if I watched you play that, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a visual spectacle.
Okay.
But it also enforces a pretty hard cap of 30 minutes per run if you get that far. So, like, it's good to pick up, and you don't have to worry about a run going super long and suddenly it's 3 a.m. And it does run great on Steam Deck. Yes, that is true too.
Cool.
So there, a reason to use yours.
Fair enough.
And there's a handful of other things just in between. Not really worth mentioning at this point. Yeah, and probably a little bit more to talk about when we get to our 2024 look ahead here. But until we get to that point, let's do Toonskis Part 2 here. Let's start off with a remix from The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, entitled Time Shift by Chimpazilla. Then moving on to a remix from Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship Tournament 2004, entitled The Simulation by EAR and Bandit the Raccoon. And then finishing off with a remix from Castle of Illusion, entitled Bittersweets by Aino Keskitalo. Yeah, I thought about letting that roll into the final song just to see if we could get a meep out of it, but decided against it for the inaugural use of it.
All right.
Besides, I'm sure we'll run into an accidental one every now and again. Don't need to push it into intentional. All right, well, we're changing things up a little bit tonight for the first show of 2024. Instead of doing an ad hoc design, we're going to do a little look ahead to the following year to see what we're looking forward to in terms of games, what we want to start ourselves, what kind of projects we want to work on. Essentially, get a little bit of an optimistic outlook going here because we really could use a little bit of optimism. I think sometimes, and especially now, I think we're due, aren't we? We're due. So to address something you cheekily put into Twitch chat there, Tormod. I would like to get back into Assault Android Cactus this year, as evidenced by me wearing a shirt, one that I have not worn and have not played the game since my go of things in 2017 with Infinity Drive for Life, which was very successful, very fun, but also a lot of Infinity Drive to be playing back to back to back to back to back.
It's so good.
It is very good. It's very fun. But it tends to wear on you for apparently 7-ish years.
Especially when you were literally wearing it.
Right? I get it. But yeah, so that's one thing I'm looking forward to. You got something that you want to start? Or continue or go again or whatever?
Well, I still need to finish Final Fantasy VI. Unfortunately, I got COVID, and that basically was like the end of everything for me for streaming for the year, basically. So
torpedoes a good many things, yeah.
So I did my last stream on my birthday, and that was before I got COVID, but while Vlad had COVID, and then everything just kind of went downhill from there.
Sorry.
So, in terms of the things that I have installed right now, I do not have start menu shortcuts for them because I choose not to. Let me open up Steam real quick. Yeah, don't get COVID. And if you do, rest as much as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
That is how you at least minimize the chance for you to get long COVID. So, okay, let's see. So, Slay the Spire, I want to get back into and play some more of. I need to finish Octopath Traveler finally for the first time. ... Oh, that's cute. Apparently, there are figurines of Ironclad and Silent from
neat.
Slay the Spire now, and they're both like weirdly happy looking, but also kind of cool. So, anyway, Slay the Spire shared that news on Steam. Anyway, so let's look here. So Slay the Spire is a thing. I still need to finish Final Fantasy 15. Triangle Strategy is going to happen after Octopath Traveler, but then of course they have Octopath Traveler 2 and Time Spinner and Hades and Moonlighter. And I want to get into Dicey Dungeons because I know I like games like that because Slay the Spire has kind of retaught me about that stuff. Deep Rock Galactic is kind of fun looking. Vlad started playing that with some friends. What else do I have here? I have Dead Cells installed. We'll see if I play it. And of course, at some point I'll have to actually play Vampire Survivors and things like that. So, of the things that I don't have installed, this year was a little bit chaotic, much like last year in terms of Halloween time, but we still do intend to do the shitty werewolf game marathon at some point. There are so many of them. I was gifted the game Baby Coyote by a friend some years ago. It is an asset flip game. It is goddamn terrible. But I have it. The character, the dog question mark in it is not a coyote. But it was colored to look like one, sort of. It's real bad. What are some other ones from that we are looking at? Oh, there is a list. Blood of the Werewolf. Let's see. There's so many. Ooh, I want to go back and play Dream Daddy again. That was cool. We had a list of like 10 games, and they were all either free or very cheap. So of course that generally speaks for the quality of them. I'm looking. Oh. I am just not seeing very many werewolf games in here, but we have a list written down somewhere. We'll get to that. They're probably downloaded on Vlad's Steam account, in all honesty. But the Bad Werewolf Game Marathon is a thing. Yeah, we're gonna do that hopefully. Um, there are some other things that I'm interested in. Torchlight is definitely one. Wilder Myth is really
Hmm.
interesting. I bought that because it definitely had the feels going for it in the trailer.
I keep forgetting about that one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking.
I thought I had
I
bought it at one point, but I guess not.
oh, I bought Slay the Spire 3 times now, apparently. Huh. Cool.
Well, that means you should
Good
play
game.
it, I guess.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I have actually played the game. I'm interested in more puzzle games. Abduction is one of them. That's one thing that folks on stream wanted to see like 4 years ago. But then I started moving everywhere, and it was
Right.
just the best.
Well, if you like
Never.
spatial puzzles, the Talos Principle is pretty good.
Yes. So that's something that Vlad and I are going to be doing together at some
There
point.
you
Whether or
go.
not we do it on stream, I'm not sure. But it's something I'm interested in. You remember some time ago, back at one of actually two of the PAXs, there was Mages of Australia. I still have it. I still want to play it. That's one that's out there. I ended up getting the Baldur's Gate bundle from Humble Bundle recently, and that came
Oh,
with
yeah.
Neverwinter Nights. And I'm going to be playing that at some point. Um, what else? There's just so many things. Having watched you play shmups a bit more lately kind of has me wanting to go and play more Jamestown. It's been a hot minute, so next time we hang out, we should probably do that.
Jamestown, yeah. I wonder
Mhm.
if myself and 006 still have the 2P boards on lock on Switch version.
Hey,
I'll have
that's
to look
cool.
at that again.
I didn't know there was a Switch version.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Interesting. We may need to make some attempts. I
Oh.
was also thinking of suggesting that we try to get good at 2, 3, or 4P for Assault and Red Cactus, but you know, at some point it'd be fun to try to see if we can get on the leaderboards a little higher up. I don't know if I'm ever going to play FTL myself, but it's something that I want to get more into hard mode in. Because easy and normal are something that Vlad clears very easily, but I want to see what happens. There are some things that we haven't unlocked yet. We haven't unlocked a very specific spaceship that I'm not going to spoil. We keep getting like most of the events for it, and then just not getting a home world at the end to actually kind of clinch that. Yeah. I'm trying to think. There's much more that I really want to do with Final Fantasy. I have no idea what the situation with Final Fantasy VII's remake is, or the interlude, or whatever the fuck. I don't get it. I want to play it at some point, but I have no idea like what the definitive version of it is, or shrug. I don't know. I own it on PS4. I think that's the game. I don't know. I think it had a PS5 upgrade at some point. I don't have a PS5. So shrug. I kind of want to do it. The soundtrack is really good.
Just catch the next remake. You'll be fine.
I
wish I was kidding.
Anymore. Just help. Yeah, whatever. I don't get it. Like I mentioned, I want to do more tabletop gaming in the coming year. It's been a hot minute, honestly. I really miss doing like the it's not live action role play if it's not done in a field. But I mean, like, I miss being in character and doing things, and it's a really fun way for me to be creative and charismatic. And it's just not something I've really had the opportunity to do beyond streaming or being on this show or things like that. So I want to be in those scenarios where I have to very quickly come up with what to say and how I want to behave and do some dice rolls and things like that. That's just always been real fun. Puzzle games, yeah, honestly, I've been starting to feel a little more confident in at least playing them. Maybe not necessarily streaming all of them, but just getting back into things and feeling like I'm not a total dumbass is kind of nice. gosh, I'm just looking through all of the Steam games that I have, and there's definitely more than I want to play. Banner Saga is another game from PAX that I purchased and I just didn't play. I have the first two Baldur's Gates now. I would like to play Baldur's Gate 3 at some point. There's just tons of things. And of course, I want to get back into TGM. Every time that I go over to Eon's, she makes me play. And every time I'm there, I get weirdly high scores. And it's like, maybe I can actually get back into this and not have to grind forever. I managed to get an S6 over at her place last time. That is not my high score, but it's very close too. So knowing that I can sit down and play for 30 minutes and like actually be competent after a little bit of warm up, that's pretty cool. I still have my TGM 1 and 2 boards that are sitting next to me, still connected to a super gun. I haven't turned my CRTs on in a while, so I should probably do that. Another thing that we're going to be doing this year is we have a JVC 36-inch tube TV that we ended up getting for free back when we moved to Tennessee. It has followed us for 2 moves. It is a heavy son bitch.
Yeah.
We will be cracking it open and replacing a lot of capacitors and trying to do an RGB mod and things like that. So at some point, it would be kind of neat if I could rehome my TGM boards, or at least be able to move them between like my rack here and the TV that's going to be like literally 20 feet away. So I can play them just kind of on a consumer television that's RGB modded that's a little larger, or I can sit in a comfy chair with my my fight stick and just kind of go to town on it for a while. And that way I can actually get more people into it and trying it. That would be kind of neat because I have my lovely stream office thing. It's a little cramped. It would be kind of cool to be able to like introduce the game to more folks. But apparently, TGM has come out on Switch and PS4. It's rather cheap, along with Tap. So that's another way to get into it. So I might look into that at some point, but playing on the actual arcade hardware has been pretty cool. Tetris related stuff though, like I kind of want to get back into it just in general. The thing that I had been doing the most on the Steam Deck had been playing Tetris DX on an emulator. Like, kind of considering getting back into that, but also it destroys my thumbs if I'm playing on like a SNES gamepad, because
Yeah.
if I'm going to be playing on a console, that's my preferred way to do it, I guess. It's the D-pad that hurts my hand the least rather. But I know when I had been playing it most recently, it was over GameCube, because I was able to use the Game Boy Advance thing.
Oh, the
GBI.
the link
Yeah,
thing?
that thing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, that too, actually, you can connect an actual GBA as a controller.
Oh, okay. You were talking about like the Game Boy Player or something, the little thing that sits underneath?
The Game Boy
Oh,
Player
wow.
with the GBI software.
Okay,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
it can play Game Boy through Game Boy Advance games, I think.
I think that's right.
Yes, it can. And I was playing it that way, and like I have all of these various different controller adapters that go into GameCube. So I was using SNES controllers. I tried NES controllers. That didn't really work out for me too much. GameCube itself, I tried the fight sticks that I commissioned, and they're not the same. They have some with switches and whatnot and JLFs, but like I don't know. Like I'm just not. It's not vibing with me. So I want to get back into Tetris DX. It is one thing that I was like at one point in the top 10 for people who had submitted to speedrun.com for 40. And it would be kind of cool to get back into that. I feel like I'm a better Tetris player now, but it involves a different kind of Tetris gameplay than TGM really ground into me. But I don't know. It's fun to just play and kind of get into the zone. And I know that's just like, haha, it's the Tetris effect. But like I realized over the years, like my best games were when I was distracted. So if I was like talking to chat or somebody was next to me and I was just kind of like shooting the shit, I would just play on autopilot. I wouldn't like get in my own way. And I would just like accidentally be like, I'm in the 600s. What the fuck? I didn't even realize I went through the 500 series in 20G and I'm not dead yet. Okay.
Just never
So
be aware of where you are, I suppose, and then you.
honestly, like it's I don't know, that's really kind of impacted my personal philosophy a lot in the last again, like the last half a year. Like everything's just been dramatically different for me. Finally getting treated for ADHD and stuff.
There you
Huh.
go.
But like not getting in my own way and not I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe in the context of gaming. Like I used to get so wrapped up in the what ifs and stuff, and I've been a lot better about just doing shit. And I think that's really going to impact my gameplay for things that are like really hyper focus intensive things like Tetris. So I'm looking forward to things. It really does feel like life itself is starting to kind of ease up a little bit. Um, we're setting some better boundaries here at the house. We're meeting more friends. We're getting out to do more things. It feels a little less dire. Um, of course, major things are happening this year in the world, so we'll see how things go.
Yes, they
But
are.
yeah, I really hope to find ways to experience more things that bring me joy more regularly and not have as hard of a time getting started on them because me getting into streaming takes a considerable amount of effort to get started again, but once I'm there I'm generally fine. But then things happen and then I just it's not a part of my regular schedule and I don't allocate the time and energy for it. On that note, I am setting myself up to succeed to write music again. So I'm hoping that I can give myself the mental resources and planning to give myself time to do that. I would like to be more creative. I would like to collaborate with people. I'm hoping to find an instrument that I can learn to play in person again outside of piano. So there's just a lot of things going on in my head of things that I want to do instead of just, oh God, I'm trying to keep the house together
Hmm.
and everything is terrible. So I have positive outlooks. Whether or not any of these things actually happen, I still feel like things are going in a good direction. So yeah, um, there's a lot I'd like to play. I would love to get back into streaming. I would especially love to get into more social gaming. So I might consider playing an MMO at some point just for the experience. Like it would kind of like give me the structure that I'm afraid of having, but also get me to do something. So we'll see. We'll see. Um, I really just want to get back into presenting and performing. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, yeah, it's not an obligation or anything, but you got a lot of good stuff listed there that you want to do. And that's great. That's
Yeah,
good.
we'll
The
see how it goes.
first
How
step
about
is
you?
having a plan, I guess. Well, having a plan
Oh,
sometimes doesn't work either. Well, aside from the aforementioned cactus things, I'm kind of glad you brought up Jamestown because that kind of piqued in my mind a little bit. I would love to play more Jamestown and get comfortable in judgment mode. That is the
nice.
highest difficulty where things start getting extremely angry, lots of revenge bullets, lots of different patterns and speedier and all that. So I would love to. Like my play on Divine, the second hardest difficulty is pretty good. Well, it's probably a little rusty by now, but I would love to finally, tip over and not be so scared of the highest difficulty because it is frightening. It's frightening and stressful and all that, but that would be fun. And I would love to have you along to play more Jamestown too, because that
Why not?
as a team game is very fun. Like there's a lot more strategy to it as far as who goes when and who gets what and who destroys things too early and you know
Well, yeah.
um
It's a really interesting thing that you bring that up though, because Jamestown is a shmup that has a soundtrack, and it's a soundtrack
yes.
that doesn't
Hmm.
loop. So
Correct. Yeah.
as you go through the various difficulty levels, you can start coming up with audio cues in the songs to know when things are happening. And it's good that the soundtrack is so strong in that game because I know it all. And like I'm really good because like Sarah wrote a fantastic soundtrack. I sing along
Mm,
to it as I
yeah,
play,
it's
but that
delicious.
kind of helps imprint the like, I need to do this at this time. I need to be on this side of the screen doing this thing, and here's when I want, and things like that.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's how, like, when we got to playing 3 or 4 player mode, just, casually at your place, that's kind of how I got back in the groove of it. And I think if I kind of learned what those new patterns were with the higher difficulties, absolutely that's doable. It's just a the shmups are a genre of learning patterns and when to do things.
Mm-hmm.
And like once I kind of deconstructed it to being that way, it made a lot more sense instead of just constantly screaming, ah, yeah.
Although sometimes
I
that
want to do that.
happens.
Well, you have to sight read sometimes, but
Yeah.
like,
Once you start, it's just like, oh well, that one's in the toilet. Okay, well let's play it out. It's fine.
there you go. Yeah, no, I'd be happy to
Uh,
at least like do Babby's return to Jamestown gameplay and see how things go.
uh, I okay. Now I don't remember if we played a lot of Plus together
I
because
I don't know.
the two additional levels are something else as well.
Oh, yes. We
Um,
did it together once because like we got to the wait, okay, so do they insert the levels before the ending or is it after the ending?
it's
Because there was
before
new
the ending.
content.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think we cleared it.
Okay, that makes sense.
But like I know we dropped the difficulty at one point because it was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I just want to get
But
through it and see what the end is. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like I don't think we actually cleared it though. So that would be a good place to start. Um we played on assuming it was your laptop.
Oh boy. Yeah, how long ago was that? And what machine did I have? Probably.
I don't know. I think it was in your
Probably.
living room, so
Yeah,
um
it would have been a laptop then. My old one that's now
I
busted and cracked
wonder,
up. Oh well.
so is Jamestown Plus DLC or a completely different
It's a
game?
completely different game.
Okay, let me see if I can find. Is it on Steam?
It
Has to
is
be
on
if we were
Steam,
playing it on
yeah.
your laptop.
And it's on
Um,
PS4.
yeah, I
It-
haven't turned that on
one of the
yet.
PSs, I
Um,
believe. It was like a big thing. It was, well, the big thing for Jamestown was like it was part of PS Plus or whatever the heck it was. And
gotcha. Yeah, I should buy Jamestown Plus just to like kind of get myself back into it a little bit. Um, it's such a good soundtrack. Holy shit. And I'm not sure like you were trying to like point out the differences and stuff in the soundtrack and I just like wasn't
Mhm.
catching it for some reason, which is really weird because I'm really familiar with the soundtrack. So no, I should definitely buy
Yeah.
this at some point when it goes on sale.
With Plus, they did change a few of the audio cues. Whether
Oh, okay.
that's because of the very, very slight design changes in the level itself, or whether it was the music being slightly remastered and all that. But
Oh, so there were some changes. Interesting.
hmm
Okay.
hmm
Because like some of it didn't really, I don't know. Some of it didn't feel quite right.
it's
But
very
that's probably
subtle.
why.
It very, very subtle. But there are some things different. I probably couldn't even name them now because I'm so used to Plus. But there were a few like at the first couple times, like, why do I keep dying here? Why isn't this the points the same here? It's like, oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
That's why.
The Pirate Queen? That looks cool as fuck. I don't remember seeing that at all.
Yeah, that's the
What the
boss
hell?
of
There's
the
crabs?
second new level.
I swear I was playing new content with you, but this stuff looks like completely different than I remember. Oh shit. Well, whatever. It's on my wish list. Whenever it goes on sale next, I'll probably pick it up. Um, yeah, no, Jamestown is good shit. So
It's
I
really
should
good.
probably get in on Steam. I've been having a real good time just syncing controllers with Bluetooth and having it work, which is weird. Um, so having a gamepad to play with, especially for a shmup like that, I think that would probably be a good time for me.
And aside from that, it's Cactus and Jamestown, there is one thing that I started at the beginning of 2024 already, which I think needs a little bit of an intro to it. So I've played both La Mulana and La Mulana 2. Both extremely good games, good puzzle games, a little esoteric, I think. And then I discovered that the La Mulana randomizer was a thing. And I
Uh-huh.
played one of those. It took me 6 hours across 2 different play sessions. I'm like, damn, this is fun, but oh boy, it takes a while.
Ooh.
So me being a stupid big idiot, who does way too many projects and little tiny things and all this sort of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I have decided to take the existing La Mulana remake auto tracker that exists, and adapt it and make a map tracker for it so that I can
Oh,
perhaps speed up my play of La Mulana Randomizer.
that's
Um,
exciting.
it kind of is, and the good news is I know it works because the first bit was to try to separate the UI portion of it from everything else because it's kind of old, and it doesn't play well with not Windows, and I do not like Windows. So I have successfully done that. I have successfully lopped off the UI portion, and so now that's my new project: is to one recreate the item auto tracker, and the Zeroth Cat, who's responsible for the item tracker, has done all the hard work of doing the auto tracking bits of watching the right memory addresses and all that. So I'm like, whew, I didn't want to have to deal with that. So we got that. And then I got in my head, like, hey, I could use a good on screen map of where shit is. Because otherwise, I'm tabbing back and forth on the fandom wikia of all places to look where this stuff is. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I could probably do something with this. And it's like, and then things start rolling in mine. It's just like, you know what? Fuck it. I need a new project. Let's spin this up. So yes, I'm building a map tracker for La Mulana Remake Randomizer.
Love it.
And I'm really curious now. I'd love to be able to adapt it to La Mulana 2. Because I did like that one, but I don't know. I don't remember enough of that one to play a rando of it just yet, but I do know that rando also exists. So who knows? This is going to be a project that takes a while. But I want to play more La Mulana Remake Rando, so this is going to help me do that.
Very nice.
Plus, it scratches that itch of, hey, I want to do a silly little tool that does something that I want it to do, and hey, maybe other people will like it. Maybe they'll be able to use it. And yeah, it's the dumbest thing that I do is start all these things, be like, hey, all right, and then they turn into something cool. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. I mean, they turn into something cool. That's a great result.
It is really. But then it's like, oh shit, I got all these ideas for new cool things to add onto it. Like, I don't have the time or energy to do it right now. And there's this next new thing. It's like, damn it, brain. Yeah. Stop.
Perpetual project starter. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel you.
Yeah. Anyways, that's coming up in 2024. I'll probably, when I get it to a state that it's usable and on screen, I'll probably be playing more La Mulana Remake Rando on stream as well to test it out.
Hell yeah.
And get a little hype for it. So, phew.
Can I make a game recommendation for you, because I'm still a little apprehensive?
Sure, why not?
Okay. So, the Zelda 2 PC remake, Link is Adventuresome.
Oh no.
is surprisingly good. They remade the entire game in Game Maker.
Okay.
And added a randomizer. They've changed certain elements in the game and the story. They added an entirely new second quest. It's so good. It's so good.
Link is adventuresome. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find much info on it. So, Zelda 2 PC Link is Adventuresome.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
Yeah, here we go. Okay. So, I'm trying to remember who actually made this. I've been watching a lot of it lately. It is Hoverbat. There we go. Okay. So, holy shit. It copies the original game perfectly. The HUD is the same. The music is the same. It loops the same. It has a soundtrack randomizer built in. You can change your HUD to different styles. There's all sorts of different stuff. Lots of quality of life improvements. The stuff that's been added to it feels organic. It feels like it should have been that way to begin with. And of course, widescreen support is amazing.
Right.
It's so good.
Well,
and I have watched people go through it blindly with both of them and be like, they continue to be hyped and surprised and amazed, and they finally get to the actual end of the game after second quest, and they're like, what? It's so good. Which of course, this has made me want to play the NES version and maybe get into that. But Yeah, I highly recommend finding it. It's a little weird to get to. I hear it's only on a Discord right now. You will need a copy of a dumped cartridge or a ROM,
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it just pulls assets from it. But it's so good. It's so good. Um, yeah, I'm amazed. And because of that, again, I've been watching a lot more Zelda 2 NES. Um, watching the 100% all keys, one credit clear category. Continue to find players below 80 minutes with their best runs now.
My
It's
goodness.
really fun to see. And it makes me go, wow, this combat is really actually interesting. And it might scratch the good old Audi HD brain if I were to like try to get into really getting good at certain parts of this. So I might play it casually at some point with the speedrun route in front of me so I know where to go. But it's made me want to play the game, and it's taken a long time to make me want to play the game.
That's
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair. Well, I'm glad you mentioned another randomizer because generally speaking, I'd like to play more different randomizers. The
Yes.
the big thing that usually stops me from doing that though is just the lack of tooling around it usually, or I have to go seek out a lot of different things to understand what the to do and where to do it and when to do it and all that,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
why I loved LTTP Rando because it's got a mature tool set, it's got a tracker and
Yep.
maps and all of this. It's just I can deal with that. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's such a mental load sometimes while remembering. Well, did I do this? Did I write this down? Did I
Yeah.
forget that? And it's just like no.
It's all about the accessibility. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it's very much, which is why I'm doing the whole La Milana remake trackers thing because like
Mm-hmm.
the only way I'm gonna get back into this is because I'm gonna have tools with me to work on this, and that's what they're. Time Spinner Rando is very good too. Yeah, it's got built-in fucking tooling in the game itself,
Yep.
which is great. I love when those things come together like that. Oh, I'm gonna write down Time Spinner Rando too because I played a like half a one, and it was good. I had fun, but it's just like I never went back to finish it either. So
I have it. It's installed. I need to play the game. Ah.
yes, you do. Preferably before the rando, just because that's the
Yeah. Yeah.
experience,
Of
right?
course. And I'm gonna
But
say the same thing about Z2PC because like going through the first or like the two quests as the game is, so good. All right, I'm done.
right.
I'll get off my socks for that.
I watched a video the other day of a Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster rando as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, damn, that looks great. So, I've gone pretty much all the way through Final Fantasy One Pixel Remaster. I'd like to do all the rest of them in sequence, at least up through four.
It.
At five, I like five as well, and six. I don't know why six just doesn't trip me the way the rest of them do, really. But I would like to just start working up through that.
I will say that the six pixel remaster is superb. They do some unexpected things with the game that just like halted me and I just needed to like experience the thing on
Right.
stream while it
Yeah.
was happening. I was just like, God damn, this is amazing. I have to do Kefka's Tower yet. Ugh. It's so good. Seriously, play through all six. It's really worth it. And I keep hearing because they all share the same engine and whatnot that there's the opportunity for a multi combo rando thing happening.
Shit.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sounds like we both got a lot of stuff to do in 2024. A lot of stuff we want to do in 2024, which is
That would
great.
be cool.
Which is awesome. I'm glad this kind of ad hoc look ahead worked out pretty well because I was in no condition. I'm still in no condition to do an ad hoc design.
That's fine.
Oh boy.
It's all good.
But that will return in round 119 for sure. So if that's what you were here for, sorry we didn't do it tonight, but tune in next time and we'll have it. So yeah, so right now then we're coming up on the end of round 118. Anything else we want to share? We've been talking for 2 hours, which is great. That's a good time to cut it off.
Happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you. That's right. Oh God, I forgot that was. Oh man, so much skips my
You're
mind just
old.
constantly, and it's a function of getting old, I guess.
It's all good.
But whatever. All right. Well, with that, then we're at the end of insert credits, round 118. Thank you all for joining us very much. I'm Mr. Bond,
And I'm Tormod.
and now we will have our new closing track from now until forever, probably. A remix from Final Fantasy Mystic Quest entitled Forest Through the Trees by Shay's Violin. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.